Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Prior to the explosion in murders over the past 2 decades, Montego Bay was a place that proudly wore the moniker the Friendly City. Any killings in the city would attract major attention because it was simply unusual. Back in those days, Montego Bay was simply the party capital. Whether it was going to Pier 1, Aquasol Theme Park, the Moods nightclub, or just hanging out on your favourite corner listening to sound systems such as Pieces, Electra Force, and Tika music, Montego Bay was all about fun and frolic. Back in those days, one of the popular features was going out on the party boat Sharky, which would depart from Pier 1, full of party lovers heading off to the high seas to have a good time for an hour or two. At that time, Sharky was considered a floating love nest where young couples would just go out to sea away from the prying eyes of members of their own community and just have a good time. However, one night in 2002, the party boat experience was transformed from a place of love and luxury to a floating dead shop. This was when gunshots barked on the party, resulting in the death of 2 well-known and loved Montegonians. In this edition of Lest You Forget, we will be revisiting the night when former football star David Ellis and party fan Paul Woody Man were killed on the party boat. From a story I wrote on August 28, 2002, under the headline, Shark is accused of selective security. Some passengers who witnessed the fatal shooting on board the party boat Sharky as it cruised the Montego Bay Harbour on Sunday night are upping mad that a firearm holder who reportedly fired his gun was allowed on board with the weapon. I thought the metal detector was to prevent passengers from taking weapons on board, said one woman who was among the panic-stricken passengers who cowered in fear as the shots echoed across the boat. I would think twice about going on that boat if I knew some passengers were allowed to take their guns on board. According to police reports, following a dispute between 2 men, a gun was brought into play and several shots were fired. Paul Woody Man, a 36-year-old labourer of a Montego Bay address, was killed on the spot, while David Ellis, who it is believed suffered a gunshot wound and fell overboard, has not been seen since and is presumed dead. The alleged shooter is now in the custody of the St. James Police. He was admitted under police guard at the Corner Regional Hospital with a wound to his face. No charges have been levelled against him. I know of no law that prevents a licensed firearm holder from going wherever he wants with his gun, unless it is stipulated that no guns are allowed, said Deputy Superintendent of Police Roy Boyd. However, some of the passengers who experienced Sunday night's horror said it was not all of the passengers that were subjected to the scrutiny of a metal detector check. When contacted, Foresight Store, which formerly operated Sharkies, said they were no longer involved with the 60-foot vessel, which was certified by the United States Coast Guard and licensed locally under Jamaican marine law when they operated it. Efforts to determine who was responsible for the operation of the vessel proved futile. We turned over the operation to a gentleman who, to our certain knowledge, is no longer in Jamaica, said the source at Foresight Tours. Subsequent to the incident, another media reported the following. Police charged a 46-year-old man with murder after investigators said he opened fire on a tour boat last week and killed 2 other passengers, one of whom fell overboard and has not been found. Police said Francis Young, a nightclub operator from the Montego Bay area, was also charged Friday with injuring a man and a woman, both of whom were shot in their legs. The shooting occurred aboard the party boat Sharky. In looking back at that incident, it is one of those tours that many Montegonians frequently talk about, which makes it one of those unforgettable tours out of Montego Bay. Unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica from the scrapbooks of Adrian Freighter. Like and subscribe for more unforgettable stories out of Western Jamaica.